all getting ready to play French and Indian War Solitaire from Worthington Games, which was kind enough to send this to me. And this is part of a series of solitaire games that have similar mechanics, similar gameplay, but definitely different themes because they're covering different historical situations. And by this title, we are looking at the French and Indian War. So we're having British versus the French. And something else that's different about this title or this offering is you can play either side. Normally you have to pick a side. This one you can play as the British versus the French or the French versus the British. You also have a third faction, the Indian faction, which doesn't really have active forces but has influence, and they are denoted by this, either they're for the French, neutral, or for the British. And I just set up this game, and you have the in this region you have the Ohio region, the Mohawk region, the Hudson region, and the Atlantic region, which also has the Atlantic Ocean. You have a little bit of a sea battle space here, or sea control that you have to keep track of. But in the Ohio region, the Indian forces are allied or in favor or siding with the French, and then they're neutral in these two, and there's none in here, but you do have the sea control that you have to work on. You have turns here, and depending on who you're playing, tells you how many action points you have. So each turn you're going to have some action points, and these are what you can do with the action points. Basically, this game is somewhat similar to a States of Siege, but you have 4 different tracks as opposed to one track or 4 tracks that are converging on a single location. These are 4 kind of tug-of-war tracks. So either pushing to one side or the other. The goal of the game is for the French to control some of these flag cities, a certain amount of these flag cities, or for the British to control some of these flag cities, right? You also get point for who controls the Atlantic, and you also get points for having, I think I put that in the wrong spot, having Indian influence on your side. So again, here are your, here's the sequence of play, and here are your actions. You can attack adjacent, attack the Atlantic control, attempt to change the status of influence of the Indians. You can flip a militia marker from reduced strength to full strength. These are the militia markers right here, and they have a reduced strength and full strength. And then you have 2 armies. Each side has 2 armies, with the British having a 3rd army that can come into play. I think it might come into play based on some of the events here. These armies are basically just give you a plus modifier. Ooh, you can barely see it there. There is the +2 die roll modifier there. And basically what you're trying to do is get a favorable result on these tracks. This is the Indian influence track. This is the advance results, which is the core of the game, is the tug of war on these tracks. And then you have the ship battle results, which really is just dealing with the Atlantic. You also get die roll modifiers for what kind of town that you're attacking, whether it's a town or a fortification or a flag city. That will modify the die roll as well. Plus, having influence on your side, any influence will modify the die roll. And there you have it. So I'm going to get playing on this. I don't think I'm going to go turn by turn, although I probably should do this. This game's not that complicated, but I'm kind of embarrassed how I flub up most, if not all, the time. So you'll do your turn based on your action points that you get, based on what turn it is. As you can see right here, the French start out with 3, and then you'll roll on the British and see what they do. If you're French versus the British, otherwise you flip it. And on the back side, which I got to do, I got to flip this on the back side because I'm playing against the British. There we go. Look at that. And you'll roll, and you'll see what what you're going to, what they're going to do in response to your turn. And then some things happen on even turns, and something happens on all turns. And then if it's an even turn, you do something different versus odd turns and the like. Well, there you have it. I'm going to get to it. Alrighty, this was a quick one, actually, and did very well as the French. I don't think I butchered too many rules, but you know what? I probably did. This was an automatic victory for the French because if the player side, British or French, in this case French, wins an automatic victory when they occupy 3 opposing side AI flag towns simultaneously at the end of the opposing side's turn. So was able to push back the British here at the Alexandria and at Philadelphia and at New York, and really didn't do anything over here in the Atlantic zone other than did get control of the Atlantic by the French fleet. As a latch-ditch effort, rolled, and the British got alliance by all the Indian factions on those 3 zones. A little bit of gameplay. You kind of want to have control, or at least neutral, if not on your side. Otherwise, you get a negative die roll modifier on the attack. So you kind of want to watch out for that. On the 10th turn, that 3rd British Army comes into play, and so you put it with a militia. The army has to be with a militia, and it attacks with the militia and gives a die roll modifier that is on that army unit. As some of these events unfold, there's play around with, there's back and forth on the Indian influence. There's also back and forth on the control. There's also, you can end up being out of supply. This army was out of supply. Both armies got out of supply at some point, but one of your action points is to flip them back into supply. You can also have militia out of reduced, and so there's a negative modifier on their rolls, which is not good. And as one of your actions, you can flip that back over. All in all, not a very complicated game, but it is interesting. It is this one played really quick. Not that the other ones play long, but I think I'm getting the hang of this series and system now. So there you have it. And you know what? I can set it right back up and play it again, and maybe I'll play the British this time. All I gotta do is flip this bad boy over. So anyway, there you have it. Vive la France. Thanks for watching.